Welcome to Platform Media International Political Arena. In a few days' time, Nigerians will be going to the polls to elect a leader who will lead them in the next 4 years. For those of us who are standing or sitting down around this table, we are based in Canada. It will be surprising that we are talking about Nigerian affairs, having lived in Canada for many years. But it's because we don't have a choice. Nigeria is our home. And we'll be discussing this tonight based on the fact that we still believe in our country, Nigeria. The issue today is to also set an agenda for those of you back home in Nigeria on how we can elect an effective leader for the next 4 years. Because Nigerians are tired. Tired in the sense that we keep recycling, we keep having the opportunity to elect leaders, but Nigeria is not moving forward. It is high time we called a spade a spade. We have people around this table who are very deep in Nigerian political affairs, and they are here to give their incisive comments on this issue. I will start on the extreme right. On the extreme right, I have Mr. Ebenezer Balewa, who is an insurer and also an accountant. But welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Followed closely is Mark Alonge, who is an accountant. Mark Alonge, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And my immediate right is Dr. Kingsley Omori, who is a pharmacist based here in Canada. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
On my immediate left, I have Christian Ulanisi, who is a Nigerian Olympian, a wrestler, and a businessman. Christian Ulanisi, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
And at the extreme left is Victor Bosi, who is a broadcaster and a showman. Mr. Bosi, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
You can see Nigerians that in this table will have people who are deep in their professional calling, who are also who have been doing this for a while. But you ask me, why are we so concerned with issues back home? It is because we have people who we love in Nigeria, and we still regard Nigeria as our home. Despite the fact that we've been away for many years. But let us start this way. Why, gentlemen, welcome to the program. Why has it been so difficult for us, the Nigerians, to elect effective leaders? Effective leader to rule us, to take us to the next stage. Even when I say next stage, don't misconstrue that, because that's the slogan for Buhari, next level. No, we are saying move us to the next level, that will make sense. Mr. Mark Alonge, let me start. Why is it difficult for Nigerians to have a good leader?
Thank you very much. Nigeria being a nation, I've been existing, let me say, for many years. And if you look at the numbers of years to as an age, it's like it's going down. When you are getting old, you get more experience, you get mature, you overcome problems, but not that case. The system in Nigeria is not working. I come from an accounting background as a chartered accountant. If you have a pool and you want to make a selection, you can only select from that particular system. And what is the product of that system that you are going to select? You can't select outside Nigeria. You can't select a president from Canada to go and rule Nigeria. Sure. So the system in Nigeria, as is being given by our colonized leaders or those who give us the independence, is that they have a relationship of business with Nigeria, and they give us the independence. It's not freedom, but we don't redraft the law, the situation, the condition under which they give us. So the system has been a business way, and those who are investing in business are still turning our politics, our leadership, people into business. So it's a business within a closed circle of people, and that's where they are picking from. And those are the people that are producing, that are products of that system.
Okay, well, you just said the business. Okay, what you are saying now is that the system does not guarantee for fair-minded, serious people to prop up. Now, what I'm trying to say is this. Well, you say that's what brought Buhari and Atiku to the fore. But again, Atiku and Buhari, are they the only choice we have right now? You cannot blame the system because because those are the people that the system have always propped up. But we still have, as I'm speaking to you now, I can give name like Moghalu, who's an Ivy League trained person. We have someone like Sowore, who also has been tested in journalist circle and has been a leader for a while. So why is the system not allowing Nigerians to choose leaders like that? Well, Sir Christian Lawrence, what's your take on that? Why would Nigerians not think about Moghalu or Sowore, for instance?
Thank you for that question.
Yeah.
Well, I just got back from Nigeria, which I spent like 8-9 years in Nigeria. So, you know, spending 8-9 years in Nigeria with the experience, little experience that you have gathered here, it will help you a lot to put one or two things together, what is happening there. And from my experience in Nigeria, I find it difficult to find a moral justification to tell you now to vote for PDP
Or APC.
or APC. Very, very difficult.
Okay, that's the question I asked. If these two people, PDP ruled and handed over to APC, if they are not doing well, why are Nigerians not thinking about other alternatives, other options?
You see, those options is like my good friend here said, you have to take from what you have. And this thing that you have, when you don't prepare, when you don't have, it's like when you did not work, you can eat. So the problem is, the youth that we're supposed to be looking forward to, what are they doing? These youths have not learned from anybody. If you start from 1979, which we have our first democratic government, you see. So what do you think that this youth have learned from there to now that will give them a trail or to something to do?
Okay.
So that's where, but I'm not saying we cannot choose from that, but we have to understand where we are coming from.
Yeah. Well, with the issue of Obama, for instance, Dr. Omoroye, Obama did not go to any school to learn how to govern.
Yep.
He trained as a lawyer.
Yes.
So the fact that they don't have a system to learn from is like begging the question. Why would Nigerians, they are tired of it, they're giving the chance to PDP, they fail. They are giving the chance to APC, they fail. And yet, all discussions are still centered on PDP and APC. And Nigerians cannot come back 4 years later and tell me, oh, we're tired of APC or PDP, because they have the option, they blew it. Why would they give me the chance to Moghalu or Sowore, for instance?
Yeah, I think Nigerian politics is based on how capable you are financially, or like the cabals or the godfatherism and all those policies. That's what Nigerian politics is based on. It's not based on how capable you are to handle the job. There are so many youths in Nigeria that can do the job. There are professors, there are doctors, there are lots of people who have excelled in their academics and who can rule that country in, the way it is being done in the Western world. But they are not being given the chance to do it because they don't have the financial capability to contest against those cabals who have the money in their hands, you know.
Yeah, we are still saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Mr. Badwa, perhaps you will break the ice. I don't think anybody, Buhari or Atiku, will physically stop Nigerians at the polls. They don't vote for Sowore or Moghalu. But why are Nigerians, why are these two people not featuring in the equation of people who are serious to rule Nigeria, who Nigeria considering them for presidency, for the presidential position? Because people say, oh, yeah, the system is not that. But I don't think there's any fiscal restriction of people to vote for them.
Thank you very much. You see, the elite, the military became the elite now. The constitution we are operating now was being drafted by the military. And when they drop down the uniform, they put on the civilian clothes. Now the money is with them. The kind of Nigeria they want is what we are seeing now, where everybody are being published. People cannot think straight anymore. You go to your village now, you call them that, okay, you come from Canada. They will welcome you because you come with the hope that you teach something out. But if you call them the following day or maybe after they welcome you, you didn't bring anything out, or maybe even when you come today, you arrive today, the following day you invite them that you want to have a like kind of a town hall meeting with all of them. They will show up, particularly the youth, with the hope that you have something to offer. But when you get there, you try to tell them, listen, where you are coming from, these are the way the place is being built through volunteer and people dedication, commitment, and so on. You will see them one by one.
Living the hall.
They will just be living the hall. Particularly when they come, they don't see any table set up.
Something like that, non-volunteer go job.
Yeah. So look at Mure and Moghalu you're talking about. How many times have you been reading the major newspaper in Nigeria or TV station that you see them being shown?
So in a sense, you are saying that the Nigerian ways of thinking has been polluted.
A long time ago. So everything is money now. This is what, okay, look at the vice president now. He's saying traders' money. Why is he, in the time of election, that he's going around sharing 10,000 traders' money and collecting people PVC to record traders' money? You guys have been in office now for over 3.5 years. Why were this money not distributed to these people since they've been suffering? Why now? Because they have the money. They know a few days ago, the area boy stopped Showore. The regular politician will come and give them money. But this guy came out and said, listen, I volunteer myself to serve you guys in this country. I have no money to offer. And they didn't want him to go. They blocked the road. It was after much and much talk. Now you now ask them, so what is my offense for coming out that I want to liberate you guys from the oppressors? You know the people that stole your money. Why don't you go after them?
Okay, Victor Bossi, if Nigerians now are crying that their leaders are not doing well and they have an opportunity to elect that person, they didn't take it, do they have any justification to cry 4 years down the road to say our government is not doing well?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah.
Okay. So, doctor, he said he doesn't think so.
Yeah.
Well, why would Nigerians cry 4 years down the road to say Atiku Buhari didn't do well when you have an opportunity?
Yeah.
Like Badiwa said, because it's only people who share money they elect.
Yeah.
It's only people who they see on pages on newspaper they elect. But it's not that, okay, if he's talking about seeing people, it's not that Showore is not all over the newspaper. But people at least know about a little bit about Showore or Moghalu. Why is they not giving the chance to these people at least? Let them try them, the youth. Gowon was 26 when he became head of state. Olade Azikiwe and Obafemi Awolowo was Adana. None of them were 46 years old before they tasted government. Why are they still saying Showore or Moghalu? It's too young. Or they don't have money?
Showore and Moghalu, they aren't too young to rule Nigeria. I think they are close to 40 or above 50. Above 40. They, as we've been saying earlier, it's still based on the financial capability. But if Nigerians don't vote Showore or Moghalu, and in 4 years' time, if things go wrong again, they'll have themselves to blame because they had a lot of publicity of these two contestants for the post.
Yeah, the media gave them some equal
They gave them. Though they've had issues, like during campaigns, the crowd was not as much as that of Atiku and Buhari because of the money they had shared all over. Yeah. So if they don't vote these two people, they will have themselves to blame, and the system will keep, the problem will keep persistent. Yeah, it will still be there, and I don't know. I don't know.
Christian, you just came back from Nigeria. One other issue that has persisted is this. That is issue of ethnicity or tribe. Why would an Igbo man not vote a Kanuri man? Or why would Kanuri man not vote an Ekiti man for the position of governor or president based on what that person can do rather than the person is from my place? Why are we so deep in this ethnic issue and tribal politics?
Okay. Before I answer that question, I want to step a little back
Yeah.
to the question you asked before concerning this young
Upcoming politicians. Yeah.
You see, it's a very great opportunity having those guys now. But it's also an advantage for them to train themselves now for 4 years that is coming. And that is why we have to strategize ourselves. The making choice between Buhari and Atiku. Before I continue that, on the tribal issue, you see, we have a big problem. We have a president now that happens to be the only president in Africa that voted against his own countryman because he's from the other side of the tribe, the other tribe. Buhari happened to, which was our president now, happened to be the only president that voted against his own candidate. When he was a military president, when he was the military head of state, he voted for a Niger person, man.
For OAU.
For OAU. Rather than voting for the Igbo man who is his own candidate. I wasn't ignorant of that before I supported him in the last election.
Because you thought he's going to be a good man.
I thought he's going to act the way he did before. Because I know we have one problem. Corruption. Number one enemy.
Fueled by ethnic politics.
Corruption and religion.
Oh, don't go there.
So, these were the things that I made me to support Buhari in 2015. It's not that I didn't know that they didn't like my tribe. I'm Igbo.
Yes.
So I didn't. I wasn't ignorant of the way he had the hatred on Igbos, but all I was looking forward was the way to start to bring things together. That was why I supported it.
So I want to quickly correct something before we move forward, sir. The problem we have is not actually corruption. You understand me now?
Yes, sir.
Corruption is a byproduct of bad leadership.
Yes, sir, that is true.
You understand me? Like you said, you voted for Buhari. Everybody tend to expect Buhari will do stuff.
To do something.
And when he came in for the first 6 months, right? Everybody was chivalry in Nigeria.
Yes.
We have a conference here that people used to fly in from Nigeria to attend. Government officials, governor, ministers. They couldn't leave Nigeria because the fear of Buhari is the beginning of wisdom.
As at that time.
As at that time. But when the guy got in, when they settled down, they found out that it's same old, and everybody went back. Well, what I'm saying here is that we need the right leadership.
Yeah.
And we cannot get this leadership from these two political parties. So it is, if we look elsewhere now, the idea of they should prepare themselves for another 4 years, those two young men, we are wasting our time. At that 4 years, another criminal will come out from these two political parties that want to lead Nigeria again.
Let me put somewhere there.
Okay.
As far as there is still all these godfathers in Nigeria, and they're still going to be there. So it's all these young men, they don't have a godfather or this cabal or be member of the cabal. There is nothing they can do. You have to belong somewhere. The godfather is there.
You see, if we want to solve Nigerian problem, we should stop begging the question. It's like you telling me we have given hope because there are godfathers.
Yeah.
Now, what we are saying here, what we should all propagate here is that Nigeria should take the bull by the horn.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Godfather, tell them to go to hell,
Back.
collect their money and vote your conscience.
Yeah.
People can do that. And if you give me $1 million here and say, Joe, tomorrow go south, after taking the $1 million, you cannot put a gun on my head to go south. I will go north. That's what I'm trying to say. So let us not say give a decision that
Even the issue of Godfather we're talking about, if it were to be money, APC doesn't have the money in 2015. Jonathan has the war chest, but the money failed Jonathan. With all the kings and all the religion father that he gathered together, bribe even Rat. He gave money to Rat to vote for him even in 2015 in dollars. But everything failed because the people want Buhari. So if the people rise up today and say they want one of these two candidates, they will win.
Okay, that's the issue here.
That's what we do.
Okay,
So
that's
it's the people that is the problem now.
Yeah,
Not the Godfather.
That's what we're talking about now, guys. What we're talking about. We give PDP chance, they fail. We give APC chance, they messed up. So why don't we go for a fresh person? So what is stopping us from trying Mowalo or Showore? That's the question I want to ask.
Let me say something. It will be good for people who have information to let people who doesn't have it. You know, we are not equal. You may be an accountant, you may be a doctor, you may be, but when it comes to an issue, we need everybody's help. We need everybody input. We need everybody to come together. Like what we are saying now. See, when those people who are there are maintaining the position, they don't want any other person, only them, their wife and their children, their daughter and their grandchildren and their, even the one they have not yet born, they created the position. But the masses are not aware of the full, they are not informed. They are not, I don't know if we can have a society or an organization who is just to inform, educate, enlighten, and support the truth.
Okay. We are talking about education.
Yes.
Social media reigns supreme in Nigeria. So Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, it reigns supreme. There's nobody in Nigeria now that does not have a phone. So don't tell me there's no education. You know, let me tell you something. You know what the crisis that engulfed the Middle East in about 4 years ago started from Tunisia. Somebody set himself ablaze because of government policy. And what is it called again? Arab Spring.
Yeah.
It's called Arab Spring.
Yeah.
It swept the whole and swept a lot of head of states out.
Yeah.
So are Nigerians prepared to make sacrifice like that?
That's what I'm saying. I said a lawyer, a doctor, an engineering. See, information is very key. Social, you are doing a great job. I think about a week, we are having a meeting somewhere in Canada here. Someone was there, we saw, you know, your program. You know, it's true, you are doing a great job. But we need more hands to come together. And you see, when a person pursue, when we are many, it will be easier to move. So what I'm trying to say is this: if we can have a society or an organization supporting you for that cause and informing the populace, see, last year I went to Nigeria. The government of Canada, they are investing in developing country. They sent me down to Nigeria. I stayed for almost 6 months there, not on my own cause. Investment in Nigeria. For who? For the poor. For what? Information. For them to be educated. And they're even empowering them financially.
Yeah.
Free. So, these are the opportunities we need to make people.
I think maybe we should use a different term for it, like creating awareness. If you create awareness to the general population on consequences of bad governance, and which normally lasts for 4 years, like if you vote for a bad But for someone that can't do the job, you suffer for 4 years, and at the end of 4 years, you keep repeating it. If you make them aware of the consequences in terms of their social life, their financial life, and their general well-being, if they are aware of this, they might have a change of mind and vote the right people into government and get the best out of it.
But we forgot here that we are dealing with a government that doesn't have policies. How do people learn? If we're talking about American politics now, what are we going to be talking about? What's your policy on immigration?
Yeah, that's why.
What's your policy on education? What's your policy on this?
Christian, that's
so where's our policy?
Election is a reaction to an issue. After 4 years, they create an opportunity for election. They are expecting you to react positively or negatively to the 4 years of governance. So, are Nigerians, why are Nigerians not reacting? You know, why are we still doing the sheep mentality? It's called, in Nigeria, it's called bandwagon effect. Because because A and B is thinking the same.
We are beginning now. You see, we are beginning now. And that is why I said that there's no magic, because we have to be practical. Yeah. There's no magic you make what's his name? To get in now.
Yeah.
It's not possible. So we have to be practical. And that is why we have to know that and get them to start to get ready. Because I'm not here, I told you I don't have any moral justification to say vote for Buhari or Atiku. But when you view these two things, now, I think we only have one chance. And that chance, I don't know if we are there yet, but they say, if we go with, what is his name? Atiku and Obi. Atiku is going to take 8 years. And next time Obi might want to try. Which means we are losing 16 years. We're gonna, you know what I mean? So what I mean, we're gonna take another 16 years for us to begin. So I don't know. I will beg Nigerians. I will advise if we just remain where we are for another 4 years. It's a sacrifice, because within these 4 years, Atiku will expire. Obasanjo will expire. They are all my leaders. With all due respect, because they have job to do. They are trying in their own way, in as much as, because if you don't make road now, bush will be the water. So they are the road for now. So
what we are saying is we need God's intervention.
So
they will expire. Yes, they will expire.
And we will.
One thing I will say,
what
I will say right now is this: the only way we can send them a message that they are no longer wanted, even though they're going to win, whoever that is going to win among the two of them. But let the youth, let them massively vote for none of these two political parties. If they were using maybe about, say, 5 million votes to become president in the past, or 10 million votes, let it be reduced to maybe 5 or 6 million. Then they will know that the people, they are no longer popular. With amount, and maybe that one might even change their policy for the next 4 years that we are talking about. But for us to say, oh, because they are just the only two now, we should just let them rule for the next 4 years. No, let us, because they're going to view us.
That's what I just said. That election is a time to protest.
To protest,
with your PVC.
But
are Nigerians using their PVC wisely?
You see, that is why we already know. It's like you are going to Lagos, and you know the road. You already scheduled. You are just. It's like you are going on the way to Lagos, but you know that you're already in Lagos because you already know your schedules and everything is already scheduled for you. You see, that is why we should be just be practical this time by letting our youth know that we need to begin from now.
Okay.
And the way to begin from now is to encourage these two people. Let's go for them. If they each of them have at least maybe 5 million votes as a supporter, there will be an encouraged opposition. And probably this one will checkmate whoever that formed, the party that formed the government, that listen, the foundation is shaking.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. I appreciate this discussion. And you see, what I can gather from you, all of you here, is that come February 16, Nigerians will use their PVC as a protest.
Why?
What I gather from all of you here is that let not the elites or the cabals think for Nigerians. Nigerians should think
for themselves.
Right?
Yeah, right.
I want to thank you guys for coming. On my right is Mr. Badewa. Mr. Badewa, thank you very much for showing up.
Thank you for having me.
Followed by Mark Alonge. I want to thank you. Nigerians will be appreciative. And Dr. Kingsley Omori, who we got at a very short notice, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
It's part of the sacrifice we have to make for fatherland. We didn't think about the fact that we're comfortable in Canada. We're also thinking about hope, which is Nigeria. Mr. Christian Lanosi, the Nigerian Olympian, who has not even forgotten, despite how many years you've been in Canada, you have not forgotten hope. I want to thank you for coming to the program. And Vito Bosi, I also want to thank you.
Thank you very much.
For Nigerians watching us around the globe, this is Platform Media International, setting up agenda for Nigerians. And the consensus here is that Nigerians go to the polls February 16 and take an independent decision. Don't let anybody reason for you. Use your PVC as a protest. If you like what you've seen in 4 years, vote your conscience. If you don't like, vote your conscience. This is Joe signing off on Political Arena, Platform Media International. Catch us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And with that, I say good luck to Nigerians on February 16. Don't complain if you don't vote. Vote and complain later. Thank you very much and have a happy night, guys. Bye-bye.